the review of match day 25 German Bundesliga 2018-2019 that happened to be played on last weekend until Monday. I tried to, or I promised this for Tuesday, now it's Wednesday. As you can see here on my high-tech calendar, Wednesday, 13th of May. So I'm one day late. Anyway, here's the review, looking at the games and the comparison with the market, and let's see what happened to my record with the market. Okay, what do we see here? This is the review of the match day. Actually, I did not enter the results yet, which are here, which I can copy in here. Okay, sorry. So I'm copying here the results. Here you see the tendency. Those had been the results of last weekend. Here's how the games went and who was better and why. That's what they say in chess commentary. Who's better and why? They don't know. And maybe I could also even show here how close they played to the expectancies. Here, okay. In this file here, you see the entered data translated already into goals. So this is how the games should have ended. This is how much they created in chances in their games, and this is what I expected. And both these values, those expectancies here, 1.77, 1.08, or 2.25, 1.48, what they actually played, this had been expected. This is how they played. And this is already translated, the expected stats or the stats they played into goal expectancies. Here you can see right away how they performed, whereby, unlike the result, this result is a fix, is entered into every database in the world. This is going into the table, and so this is fixed. The referee blew the final whistle, and this result stood. It's a given. This is the final result. While the shots, someone else counting the shots may have counted 18, 12, whatever he says. And so this is not a fixed, these are no fixed data. They are not going into any tables. I took them from Bundesliga.de, but they may still be wrong. But anyone can look them up there. So Werder had some more shots than expected, but also Schalke had some more shots. Werder had some more shots on target. Schalke had even more shots on target. In corners, Werder had a bit fewer, while Schalke had a bit more. In possession, this was a bit more than expected. In crosses, this is where Werder had his edge on, is a lot more, while Schalke had just a few more. This is tackles where Werder had been behind. So Schalke can, in fact, still claim the effort was good, which it was. It was just Werder created a bit more, Schalke created a bit more, so it was a pretty active game. Also reflected in the scoreline, where it ended 4-2. Still, it was about close enough to what I expected altogether. I mean, Werder had been better in virtually every stats characteristic, but also Schalke had been better, so they both should have scored some more goals. Anyway, it was still a deserved result, you could say, whereby the match report after the game sounded a bit different, maybe when they said Schalke played a good game, which was, I wouldn't doubt at all. They played well, they could have scored some more, they created some chances, everything fine. They scored some goals, but I still scored some more. The effect on this here is, as I've shown here in the preview, there are those possible outcomes, and Werder was the one that favored myself. So I was winning here. You see, I see now the total record, which I didn't intend to do. You can see it right away. I see it now for the first time. You see it for the first time, I guess, whereby possibly someone may have taken this down and knew it already, because it's in the preview what possibilities there had been. But I wasn't wrong in this one. So I was better than market, I won a little, and I wasn't wrong. The game went my way, it was fine. In Dortmund-Stuttgart, as I said, it feels as if Dortmund are going to win the game. It happened to be they won the game, and in fact, it sounded a bit different, or a lot different in the match report, but most likely for the late goals, and Stuttgart took one of their very few chances and scored the 1-1, which makes it then an exciting game. But still the stats were clearly on Dortmund's side. A lot more than expected, 1.31 goals. We can look it up here as well in this file, because I can go here to next record. And you see 18-6, a lot more, 10-2, a lot more, 7-1, a lot more, possession 69%, a lot more, crosses a lot more, tackles also some more. So it was actually one-sided. If you have some late goals and a late 1-1 equalizer for maybe after 70 minutes, 69, something like that, I could look that up as well, of course, in my database. I'm not gonna do it, you know it, maybe. It makes it appear a bit shaky for Dortmund, which wasn't the case purely by stats. And it was in some sense also what I predicted, although it cost me some money in the end. But I can say, well, by the match report and also what it sounded like, the voices and so on, they may have said it was a close affair, so it could have gone my way as well, which was not the case and which was not deserved. In Freiburg, Hertha, it was a 2-1 victory for Freiburg. I expected it to be a pretty even game. Stats went in favor of Hertha, which we can also look up in the other one. Result favored myself. Stats were against me. Market was better. I still won. Hey, well, won 14 euro. This is meaningless. But I could only have lost on the draw. Hertha, I would have won as well. As I said, it does not appear to be, to me, like a drawish game or something like that. Here you see Hertha had some more than expected. Here, Freiburg 7-6 was what they had. 5.56, 5.79. Expected, not far away, close. Corners, Hertha were better. Possession, Hertha were a lot better. And crosses were okay, but I expected Freiburg to be better, which they weren't. So I was lucky here, whereby those 14 euro are pretty meaningless. I just avoided the draw, which you can say stats do confirm, as we had like 3.03 goals in this game. As I said, this is an indicator for how likely a draw is. I expected 3.33, 3.03 is a bit less than that. Total goals, so maybe the draw was a bit more likely than I thought, whereby when the stats are going to one side, it's less likely than I expected, even with some more goals, because those are closer together. They are a bit further apart, so I can say I was right about the draw as well, to be less likely, either on the amount of goals or on the difference they played at. So I can't complain here anyway. I was winning. So I'm fine. In Dortmund, I have to say market were better. Here I was right. Here market was better. Here I was okay. In Leipzig against Augsburg, Augsburg did win their point. They just relied on their defensive, which worked okay. Still, we had too many shots for Leipzig, too few for Augsburg. On target, there was in favor of Augsburg again. Corners were pretty okay for Augsburg, just 3 behind. I expected them to be 2 and a bit behind, so this was fine. Possession, they were clearly behind, and crosses, they were again a bit behind. So, well, I mean, as long as you have as the underdog, as long as you have the result, you wouldn't complain so much if you don't create so many chances. You say, okay, it's still 0-0. We don't need to do that much to score a goal. They still had their few chances. Anyway, I would say Marcus was better here. I still won on this one, which was just a little bit. And we can compare it here to the other two. I only could have lost a bit as well. So it was not a meaningful difference there. In Bayern Wolfsburg, I said it starts to be meaningful because 181 is quite a bit. Market was right. I said there were 2 possibilities in this game. Either they want to impress Liverpool or they want to preserve some energy for the Liverpool game. So they may have as well scored just 1 goal maybe and go to rest a bit, or they impressed Liverpool, which they did. Liverpool won 4-2, same time against Burnley, I think. So the 6-0 was imposing on them, and that's what they tried to do, and that's pretty much German attitude as well. They don't say, well, we're looking, well, that's what we would say Italians would do. Also, they would calculate, right? Juventus, you would say, okay, we have the win, that's fine. Bayern would say, well, let's go. We score some goals and also impress the other ones a bit. If they are a bit tired on Wednesday, maybe, which is today, the big game clash, they may regret that, but they won't, I guess. And but anyway, they were so much better. I can't say I was right on that. I mean, if they continue playing, then the stats are also going their way. After 31, 33 minutes, they scored the first goal, and from then it was one-sided, and they simply ran over Wolfsburg. And of course, Market was right here. I can't say much. But until then, Wolfsburg were a bit putting up some resistance. But anyway, Market was right. I can't say a lot more than that. The result was also clearly and a lot more on their side. In Mainz, Gladbach, I would say, I mean, this is as close as can be. So I can't say anything. Match report, yes, and also I watched this game. I have to say that looked a lot more like Mainz, which was not fully reflected in the stats. And sometimes that happens. We can look it up here. And you always, oh no, this is not what I wanted to be. I wanted to go to next one. 15-11 is close enough. Still, it's on my side somehow. 2-5, here's where the difference starts. They didn't, shoot so precisely, I have to say. 2-5, only from this 15. Whereby, as I said, hitting the crossbar, hitting the woodwork, is not counting as a shot on target, although it's the closest one you can get. I mean, closest to the goal, still it's off target. Keeper, even if he doesn't need to save it. Okay. He saw that, was gonna touch the post, hit the post. Anyway, corners also in favor of Gladbach, so I can't do much. I mean, this is a given count whereby I would still say it's not going into the books somewhere, anywhere. And as I try to point out, miscounting is very unlikely, but I still wonder what happens if a corner is given towards the end of one of the two half times and it's not been taken anymore because referee stops the game, which he is allowed to do. They usually don't do that, but it happened. Sometimes also if the players are, I mean, the winning team get a corner, they are taking it slowly, then he says, okay, that's it, I'm going to stop the play. They don't want to score, the others won't have a chance anymore, so I'm going to stop the play. Does it count as a corner? Does it not count as a corner? That's what I still wonder. But I haven't seen examples for that. Especially the example would be the one side counts 2-6, the other one counts 3-6 or 2-7, let's say. Then you would say, why a different amount of corners? How is this possible? Here's how it is possible. I just explained it. Anyway, in crosses, once again, they were clearly on my side, whereby possession was not so much on their side. Tackles was fine, they were good in tackles. Anyway, the crosses favored them quite a bit. In the end, it comes to nothing, it's just regular. It is as close as can be to what I expected, whereby these plus 0.02 would still say my side had even been better. So I should not have lost this, which virtually everyone would agree anyway, because the voices said the same thing, or the match report, let's call it, all together. We shouldn't have lost the game, which is, they are pretty right about it. Still, a draw would have cost me some money, but I was on the right side, definitely, here, with this team, no matter what. Stats say that, because I'm close before and after the game, and also match report. And just the result was against me. In my Hoffenheim against Nuremberg, we had a 2-1, was a very close victory, and it was not as much of a difference between them as expected. So Nuremberg can say, well, brave effort. And they even scored the 1-1. So like in Dortmund, here it was much clearer, but still the 1.6 goals between them is clearly and by far, or almost 1.7 to justify the win. Still, Nuremberg, by being 0.39 goals better than expected, could still claim, well, maybe with a little bit of luck, we may not have lost the game. Hoffenheim did not have as many shots, while Nuremberg had some more on target, clearly in favor of Nuremberg. Corners are in favor of Hoffenheim again. Possession is virtually the expected value. Crosses clearly in their favor, whereby I didn't expect this much from Nuremberg anyway. And here in tackles, Hoffenheim was the better side. All we can say is Hoffenheim did not quite produce as much as expected. The win was a deserved one, and I could only make money with the Nuremberg win. It's not a lot I'm losing here. It still is. I was on the right side, definitely. I mean, not just the result, because Hoffenheim were really a bit nervous, because it was 1-1 after maybe something like close to Stuttgart. They scored the 1-1 and they held on to it for a while, and still Hoffenheim scored the winner, which was well deserved. And still I was on the right side, because the stats say this would rise the probability for Nuremberg to take something from this game, which was as well visible in the game, because they were close. It was 1-1. It took them a while to settle and still score the winner. In Hannover, Leverkusen, I was very, very right, although in the preview I may even have said those two, like Hoffenheim and Hannover, this winner here and this winner seem to be pretty clear-cut winners, so I didn't really would like to have the other side, because they are just too weak, and also there is some gap at the bottom of the table, which does not mean that much. In Germany, maybe they still try and they all play their game as well as they can. But still, if the gap is there, you can still say, well, you are not winning any games. You're not scoring goals. You're not winning any points, and the others are running away. So at some point you say, well, it's not going to be our season. It's I mean, and it's very, very highly competitive, this football. And if you are, if you can't prove you're competitive enough, the others know already, okay, this is going to be our game, so we have to make sure we're going to win this. And this is more or less what happens at this stage of the season. Maybe not even this much in German Bundesliga, a bit more in abroad and other leagues, whereby England and so on, you can say they all try. Italy is a famous example where you would say, okay, once they found the ones they have to beat, they are gonna do. And sometimes the gaps get really wide in Italy when you look back at tables from recent, or not recent, from like 20 years, 30 years ago. You look back and you see Empoli, Foggia, or teams like that. They simply lose all their games after they lost contact, right? So it is in some sense also true. Whereby these two results and also the efforts would fully justify, they tried, they were close, and Hanover also, like all the other three, that was the bottom three, they all lost, and they all scored an equalizer somewhere after around minute 70. Hanover maybe 75 or so. But so they all did come desperately close to winning something from this game. But here, what I wanted to say is, also stats would fully justify my side, so I can't say at all I was wrong here. There's 0.83 goals. This is massive going my way. Also, the result was even going my way, because it was 2-2 after 75 minutes. What more could you hope for when you take the dog, right? I mean, you can say, I hope they are winning 3-0 at that time, but you can't come a lot closer than that and be right. But here, just the pitch conditions, it was irregular. They do not stop the games in German Bundesliga, and they wouldn't do this. And you can still say, well, back in the 60s, 70s, we always played in these conditions also. And they were even worse. I recently saw a game we saw just terrible pitch conditions, and they were still playing football there, which you really can't do so well. And of course, this favors the dog massively. I mean, if the ball, the favorite can't play their passing game, or they can't show their superiority in technical and the gameplay, well, what else can they do? I mean, the others are, well, if they try to, and they use all their physical, I don't know, power, whatever. Then they come close. I mean, this is still Bundesliga. They still play some excellent football, which was really, you had a hard time watching it if you did so, because they take a red ball then, because it was snow all over, and just terrible. The ball would stop. I mean, Hannover scored an early goal. Well, they scored. I mean, the goal went past the keeper, and then he put by far enough on the ball, but he played it. What do you say, on the ground, so it, what is it, flach, and it wouldn't reach the goal, so it just stopped before the goal line. So this was against Hanover, this moment when they did not score the goal. Still, altogether, it was irregular, so I was very right. The result was against me after 87 minutes. Still, Leverkusen found the winner. So all these three games of the bottom three were very similar. You can say match day 25, they still try for sure 10 more games to go. And so they all of them tried, and they came very close to getting something. from their game. Still, they all lost to some late goals. Still, they all were deserved, which you can also say about this one. But here it was just irregular conditions. So, I mean, Leverkusen did not even really have a chance to show they are better, which they still did in the end by scoring this goal. So, I mean, here, of course, I can't say then, oh, I was wrong, because pitch conditions were so much favoring on my side. Otherwise, they would have gone down desperately. Of course, I was right in this one, but I was right by being lucky. Still, I lost the game, so what more can I mean, and in Düsseldorf against Frankfurt was pretty one-sided. I mean, I saw the game, and he disallowed one goal, and this is as ridiculous as can be. The VAR, go away and never come back, please, because it's never gonna be a proof or anything if they say assistant. Okay, so why does he intervene? And afterwards the discussion starts. I mean, then you can say, okay, we could have gone this way, we could have gone this way. You can't do that. You should have done. This was obvious. Here you had to. Here you. Oh no, here you must not. And here it should have been this way, and it must be. And here it was very clear, and he did not. And it's everything going wrong. So leave it as it ever always had been. You have some bad decisions, and they belong to the game, and that's it. But don't ever again try to say you can prove something. It's not gonna work by any means, and it's further away than ever. Now, what happened here when Düsseldorf scored a goal, right? I mean, everyone who watched it, maybe he saw it or remembers, or he was angry, or he doesn't understand the world, or he turned off his TV or threw it out of the window if he was on Düsseldorf's side. I don't know. But the supporters say they are all just angry. They say this is arbitrary. It's just random decisions. No idea why. But what happened in the first intervention? It was that Düsseldorf scored a goal. Luke Bacchio. And he scored a goal. And then a referee or VAR says, well, he handled the ball. Oh no, I remember now. He took it like this, and then took it into his stride. So, and then he said, oh no, he touched it with his arm. So no goal, disallowed, because he touched it with his arm. Then the pictures from all angles. I don't know where they got to get those pictures from, or I mean, what other pictures do those does this video assistant see? But the pictures more or less show this. Well, he didn't handle the ball, so this was just was just an error. So he did not handle the ball. So the referee was right. But then they say afterwards, well, he may have been offside too. So in that case, it was right to disallow the goal, maybe for the wrong reason. But if you start like that, and you say, well, shut up. I mean, you can. He intervenes for some silly reason. This reason is not a given. But then you say, okay, but he could have gone for another reason, so goal does not stand. So this is the first. I mean, then you can, if you once such a thing happens, then you have to say, well, stop that rubbish. I mean, stop it. I mean, it's just silly. It's not working. But they don't, and they say they have some silly excuses. Okay. In the second scene, I mean, last week, and we had this before the season already, when they said, well, we notice when players get their arms into, and they move it on purpose, deliberately, into the path of the game, of the ball, right? And this is what the defender did. I mean, and now try to explain. I mean, it was 1-0 Frankfurt then, so a penalty for Düsseldorf would have been 1-1, possibly. Okay, it's 85% right now, scoring from the spot. So, now this guy, Hinteregger, he went towards the ball when the cross comes in, right? It's from close range. I mean, it's inside the area. And it's maybe, well, it's at the edge of the 5-yard box, right? You see the 5-yard box around the 6-yard box. Sorry, it's 5 meters, 5.5. 6 yards box. There you have the goal. And here you have the 6-yard box. And it was right at the edge here. When he crossed the ball. And then this guy goes to the ball like this. And maybe he notices that he can get a touch without, well, I mean, how can I show you here? I mean, he does not need his elbow, right? He does it like this. But still he... and the ball comes here. But now, what I would like to ask you, or anyone in the world, try to explain to me. I mean, if this attacker, the forward, who's bringing the ball into the area, and he sees a teammate there, he's okay, he's going to score from there. Unless someone gets his body into the way. Okay. So this is his body, okay. But here's his arm, right? And if he does like this, I mean, but how on earth would he say instantly after the cross was stopped, oh, handball? Why would he say that? I mean, if he said, there was nothing, right? There was nothing to complain about. Then why would he do that? Because he says, well, sadly he stopped my ball. He did it with his chest, whatever. But I'm simply going to say this is handball. But right away, and the others as well, and say, handball, handball. You can't do that. I mean, you have to, if you were an actor, right? You had to exercise for ages to act like that, right? Because, I mean, you exercise and you say, okay, I'm going to do it. Okay, he stops it with his chest. I'm instantly going to. But you wouldn't do that as a normal person when you're just... There must have been some kind of incidents. And, I mean, right or wrong, we can still discuss that, but there must have been something to talk about. If the referee now in this case says, because he reacts to this movement of the body, he says, okay, whether or not, I mean, no, they say, well, he was trying to take it away, but still he was touching it here, right? He moves it into the path, but then he says, oh, now I'm rather gonna pull it a bit away, because not to make it too obvious, right? I'm going there, but then they say, okay, active movement towards the ball, okay, very well given. Touching the ball with the arm, very well given, so no penalty. Why? I mean, especially after you see before that a striker has been stopped for handling a ball when he didn't even touch it with his arm. Anyway, he took back this penalty, which was awarded already, or the VAR took it back, and then they say he rightly so did that. I mean, when they say, no, this is a very obvious bad decision, well, how can they say that? I mean, can't be myself the only one in the world who argues like that, and I'm not a Düsseldorf supporter, I'm just watching football. How can he take it back then? Why? This was too obvious. I mean, when he said this was handball, and the other strikers as well, they all raised their arms and said this was a handball, because they were standing right in it. And also you see when the defender walks away, he's very, very shy, very timidly. He's, because he knows there was something. And he tries to get away with it. You can see that. Look at the reaction, and you see what went on. What I say is, once again, all those decisions go against the goals, which is another thing to talk about. Here, there was no reason at all. Still, both these incidents, which were almost goals for Düsseldorf, 2 of them, they do not go into the stats. So one could also say Düsseldorf did come a lot closer, because first of all, first goal stood, it was taken away, the penalty stood, it was not given. In that case, I mean, this was like half a goal more, maybe, something like that, right? Value. Anyway, Frankfurt were the better side. They did deserve that win. I'm not going to argue. I'm not losing a lot. Still, I lost altogether. And here I can hardly say I was right. Still, I argue a bit about those silly decisions. Altogether, I would say I was not wrong. I was pretty okay in general. And you could say, well, here or there, I mean, for this or that reason, here I was wrong, here I was right, for some luck. Here I was right, okay, no luck not on my side. Here I was right, definitely. So that's 3-1 already. Here I was wrong, 3-2. Here I was wrong because 0.38, let's say, right, that's 3-all. Here I was right. I can't say the draw was the most likely result. A, many goal chances, B, difference here. So it's 4-3 in my favor. Here I had to say, well, market was right, okay, 4-all. Here I was very okay, so it's 5-4 somehow in my favor. Results against me because none of those unlikely things, which was here, for example, here in mindset was not very unlikely. Bayern, no chance. Also in Dortmund, Stuttgart did come close enough. Anyway, so I lost 399. I'm gonna enter this into this long-term record here, which is minus 399.6, and we will copy paste this down here and say it's 26, and this is a 0, a black 0. Anyway, we see what happens. I'm still trailing by quite a bit, and even a bit more after this match day. Well, I wasn't wrong. I think altogether I was doing okay with the predictions. Well, to summarize that would be difficult, but usually results were not quite on my side, which just happens. So thanks a lot for watching. See you hopefully on Friday when I record the preview, which is a lot easier this week because we got a international break for internationals in the week to come. Thanks a lot for watching. Share, like, comment, subscribe.